Okay, so we're going to be talking about Shannon Sharpe and the drama that consistently boils over, particularly in the situation that Shannon Sharpe finds himself in. Okay, so this has been going on since late Sunday night. It was first reported that Shannon Sharpe had SA a young woman. We didn't know of her identity. We didn't even know of her age. And she was going to file a civil lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe. And it was estimated that she wanted $50 million. Now, that came on the eve of Shannon Sharpe taking it to social media, talking about he's getting ready to sign a $100+ million deal as for a podcaster because of the success of Club Shay Shay and Nightcap. He was on the verge of signing such a enormous contract like that, and I believe a couple of months even after that, he signed an extension with ESPN. It's a multi-million-dollar extension. And he's not even doing a First Take full time. He only does it like Mondays and Tuesdays, occasionally on Fridays if they are, out on remote. But pretty good money, pretty good deal for Shannon Sharpe. But a lot of people said initially that this was a cash grab when they heard of the two famous words that any black man hates to hear, Tony Bugsby. Now, if you've been living under a rock, allow your boy to explain. Tony Bugsby is behind a lot of these civil lawsuits. Deshaun Watson, Sean Diddy Combs. There was once a civil lawsuit against Jay-Z that later on got dropped. Now, Jay-Z's legal team is is suing Tony Bugsby for, I forgot the word. I do apologize. Defamation. So we will find out when the other shoe drop on that civil lawsuit. But a lot of people thought that this was, another cash grab, another shakedown, another black celebrity being shaken down by the famous Tony Bugsby, and no one paid no mind, no attention to it. Now, later on Monday, Shannon Sharpe and his legal team issued a statement about this young lady. They even said her name. So now we got clarity on her name. We know who she is, and also showed a bunch of text messages allegedly that she messaged Shannon Sharpe about. It was a lot of graphic messages in this text message. All right. Now, when I read the text messages, a lot of people, even Stephen A. Smith, talked about this yesterday on Wednesday's Stephen A. Smith show. I don't know why his legal team would allow him to show these messages, because it doesn't mean that Shannon Sharpe is in the clear, and it doesn't help or make his case that he's a victim of a shakedown. Let's just put it that way. All right. So a lot of people, there were some people that was still in Shannon Sharpe's camp talking about this is greed, ambulance chasing Tony Bugsby. This young girl was never interested in Shannon Sharpe. She's basically trying to, want half of that $100+ million deal, yada, yada, yada. Now, initially, I was going to wait, because when you hear stuff like this, SA, Grape, civil lawsuits, Tony Bugsby, and when you have history with Shannon Sharpe, if you know Shannon Sharpe's history, you know that this is not a clear-cut thing. There's levels to this. There are layers to this, and I wanted to wait to hear the other side of the story. Like your elders would say, there's three sides to the truth. It's your truth, their truth, and the actual truth. So I wanted to hear from her perspective, her version of the truth. And I guess after they negotiate, or after they go to finish, when they go to court, we'll actually get the truth from both parties. But anywho, before we can get there, I wanted to listen to her side of the story. And I knew Tony Bugsby and this young lady was going to respond to Shannon Sharpe, because Shannon Sharpe made it public. Shannon Sharpe, showed the text messages. He released a statement. He even did a video proclaiming his innocence and saying that this is just clearly a shakedown, similar to Jay-Z, and he's going to file a motion of defamation against Tony Bugsby and this accuser. So when her version of the truth dropped, we got a little bit more clarity, and it dropped yesterday. So according to her, allegedly, we have to use the words allegedly, TMZ broke an audio conversation that was recorded, Shannon Sharpe talking to this young lady, and he's using words that one could interpret that he could either been in the heat of the moment, he's frustrated with her. Obviously he's frustrated with her, and it's one of those situations where you don't really mean what you say, but you got to be careful of what you say. And he used the words of choking her out, and a lot of people try to imply that they were role playing. I listened to the whole audio conversation. It sounds like Shannon Sharpe is frustrated with this girl, and either he called her or she called him, whatever the case may be. It really doesn't matter. You don't have to answer the phone, all right, if you're Shannon Sharpe. And he's mad at her, probably because, I don't know, I don't want to insinuate, but clearly you could tell that this was not a playful conversation, and this was a very heated conversation. At least he was mad at her. What she did, I don't know. Also, that came out from Tony Bugsby, and Tony Bugsby, he released a statement saying that for the past over 6 weeks, Shannon Sharpe was trying to buy himself out of this sticky situation, offering the lady $10 million. Okay, what innocent man is going to offer somebody $10 million if they know full darn well that this was a shakedown? I'm just going to leave that on the table. Also, we found out, Shannon Sharpe and his legal team said her name. We know the name, and we also found out when they met, and she was like 19 years old to Shannon Sharpe almost being 60. Let that simmer on the table. A 19-year-old girl, and I told you guys, they're going to portray her as a girl, as a teenager, a young adult. All right, they're going to use that against him versus an older 60-year-old man. And they're also saying that he was controlling. He was very controlling in the relationship. He was very, violent in this relationship. They're painting a bad picture of Shannon Sharpe, all right? Which we all knew that. So here's my thing, all right? After telling you guys what's been going on for the past 3 days, and it's been a lot going on in the past 3 days. Now, Stephen A. Smith went on his show on YouTube, the Stephen A. Smith Show, and he's, pretty much, telling what he know, and he knows less than the rest of us. But I want people to go check out his response about Shannon Sharpe's situation with this girl. He says a lot of things, and I know Stephen A. Smith is not the boss. He says he's the executive producer of First Take, but I do believe Stephen A. Smith has a very healthy relationship with the powers that be. And if you listen and pay close attention to the words that Stephen A. Smith used on this particular video when he's talking about Shannon Sharpe, I think ESPN is on the verge of letting Shannon Sharpe go. Okay? I think, look, first and foremost, Disney is owned by Disney. And it was bad enough Shannon Sharpe found himself, Shannon Sharpe, ever since he's been on ESPN, who has, first of all, First Take was always the most successful, highly rated show. That's going to be before and after Shannon Sharpe. All right. And I always tell y'all to tell, First Take was kicking Undisputed's tail when Shannon Sharpe was there with Skip Bayless. They had some moments in the sun, but First Take had, they was the sun. All right. So, and when he went to ESPN, when Shannon Sharpe went to ESPN and went to First Take, they even got bigger numbers because you have to, I'm not going to go into full details about that situation, but they continued to start getting high ratings. And Shannon Sharpe, when he was at Fox Sports 1, he had the incident in Memphis. When he went to ESPN, he had the infamous IG Live accidentally going live of him having an afternoon delight with a female. It's not the female that's in question. A lot of people are assuming that the female is an IG model. Now she has denied having a relationship with Shannon Sharpe, but hey, it is what it is. And that is not even a year old. Okay. And now you got this pile of hot steaming crap in the middle of your dinner table at ESPN. ESPN is owned by Disney. Disney is a family-run organization. And just like they did to Rob Parker when Disney owned ESPN, just like they did to Michael Irvin when Disney still owned ESPN, what do y'all think they're going to do to Shannon Sharpe? I think they're going to pay close attention to this. I think they're right now on Shannon Sharpe's side, but when they start investigating and they come with their findings, I don't think Shannon Sharpe is going to be on ESPN much longer. You better start watching ESPN as long as you possibly can while Shannon Sharpe is there. It would not surprise me none if next week Shannon Sharpe mysteriously takes a vacation. Particularly if this thing gets even hotter. The stuff that was dropped yesterday evening, that's a lot to consume. Now, Shannon Sharpe said yesterday that Tony Bugsby and this lady is going to also drop an R-rated X tape. Shannon Sharpe, you are 60 years old. It's bad enough that, okay, look, you want to, make out with a, younger woman, fine. Fine. You like it, I love it. Okay. But you don't see the optics on how this could bite you in the butt. No pun intended. You're 60. You are a high-profile celebrity. You're like a CEO of a major company. Shay Shay Media, you are the CEO. You're the founder. You also have a very successful gig at ESPN doing First Take. You just recently signed a multi-million-dollar contract to continue your services with ESPN. Not only that, you was on the verge of signing a $100+ million contract on the side, continuing to do Club Shay Shay and Nightcap. Okay? You got a lot of stuff going on. But more importantly than that, you got a lot to lose. And you're messing around with an OnlyFans model who's 19, all right? And you're going to record yourself doing adult performances. You was willing to record yourself doing that. Now, this ain't no hidden camera, all right? You're going to record yourself having an intimate adult, doing adult activity. You're filming yourself, and she keeps the original video. You don't even have a copy of it. And then you're talking about them. It may be a snippet. It was a much longer video. This is bad, dude. On top of the text messages, and I read some of the text messages. There was a conversation through the text messages where she was telling him when they perform an adult activities that he went in her RAW and she wanted him to put a rubber on. He refused. And then at the bottom of it, no means no. That looks bad. Now, that could be interpreted so many different ways. I mean, people could just say, well, she probably meant no doing that act without protection. One could allude to that assumption, all right? But another assumption is you can't say that this is not possible. She probably, you could also say that she just didn't want to perform the act. So this looks super bad optic-wise for Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe, I don't know how you can come out of this where you still get to keep working at ESPN. You're going to finish signing this $100+ million deal. I don't even know how you keep your sponsors. I don't know how you're going to keep people that want to be interviewed on Club Shay Shay. I don't know if you're going to get those A-list guests. And if you've been noticing, particularly on Club Shay Shay, he's been getting a lot of guests that you be scratching your head, like Kusha Doll. There was another, person that he interviewed. I'm going like, man, the guests are getting slimmer and slimmer. Now, he's been having some exceptions. Like recently, Bobby Brown. I thought Bobby Brown was pretty good. And I think he interviewed Andrew Schultz. I'm not 1,000% sure. I could have sworn he was on Club Shay Shay. But he's been getting some major big names, but it's few and far between. And he's been getting a bunch of people you're going like, man. And even I forgot the Gilly. He had Gilly and Wallow, which is a solid interview, but he did a performance. His Gilly's daughter performed on his show, and I thought that was a head scratcher. She's not a major artist, okay? So, but still, Club Shay Shay, it's been a long time since Club Shay Shay had an elite iconic celebrity that's like a Cat Williams, but anywho, that's neither here nor there. But this looks real bad for you, just for you to keep your sponsors, just for you to finish signing that $100+ million deal. And ESPN just gave you a multi-million-dollar contract. I think it was a month ago, 2 months ago. I don't know how you keep all that. I'm pretty sure there's language in the ESPN contract, and ESPN be a fool not to, because if you look at Shannon Sharpe's track record, he's known to have incidents like this. Now, I'm not talking about SA and Grape or anything like that. But, you better put language in your contract that protects your backside if Shannon Sharpe does something incredibly stupid, which he finds himself currently in. So I'm pretty sure their legal team put language in the contract where if they let him go, they can owe him absolutely nothing. All right. And I don't know if the volume is going to re-sign Shannon Sharpe. Now, I'm pretty sure there was a bidding war with the volume and some other entity, maybe Barstool or whatever, and they're fighting for the services of Shannon Sharpe's club, Shay Shay, and Nightcap, sponsoring them. But I think, if anybody's interested in Shannon Sharpe, they're going to be interested in Shannon Sharpe, but for a lower amount of money. Because if you understand Shannon Sharpe has always gotten good gigs. Shannon Sharpe, if you look at Shannon Sharpe's media, his career in the media, he has always found himself in good gigs, but he also couldn't keep those good gigs. CBS Sports, that was a great gig for Shannon Sharpe. And then he had the elevator incident. A lady accused him of harassment of SA, and CBS Sports had to let him go. Now, he's publicly denied it, but that's as far as it went. And then after that, he was just bouncing around, just like one of these NFL ex-players going on these shows and doing a segment or two. Then, he's been bouncing around from Fox, ESPN, the NFL Network. And he did some gigs on ESPN, and that's how he built his relationship with Skip Bayless. When Skip Bayless left ESPN, he went to Fox Sports 1, and he wanted to do his own show, and the powers that be over there was trying to pin him up with another another journalist personality. Skip Bayless vouched for Shannon Sharpe, and the powers that be at Fox Sports 1 at that time was not high on Shannon Sharpe, but Skip Bayless vouched for Shannon Sharpe, and the rest, they say, is history. Now, over the course of time, Shannon Sharpe's star got big. He was the biggest draw on Undisputed. And there was a power struggle between him and Skip Bayless. But Fox Sports 1 pushed all their chips to the table for Skip Bayless. They let Shannon Sharpe walk. Shannon Sharpe went to ESPN. He flourished at ESPN. Fox Sports 1 struggled with the new revamp of Undisputed that only lasted a year. And then after that, bye-bye to Skip Bayless. All right? Which we all kind of figured that was going to happen anyway. Okay? And, he, bet his own reputation and money on Club Shay Shay and on Nightcap. Those are very successful. Those are very successful under Shannon Sharpe. He flourished on First Take. doing the Monday and Tuesday show. When they're out on remote on Friday, he joins that show as well. And, the rest they say is history. And Shannon Sharpe finds himself yet again in some more controversy. And there's a big possibility that Shannon Sharpe days are numbered at ESPN. And I'm going to be honest with you, Nightcap will live on. Club Shay Shay will live on. But to what extent? I don't think you get those high-profiled actors and actresses and athletes to want to do a sit-down interview with Club Shay Shay. I think he will rebound, but he's going to lose a lot. He's going to lose a lot of viewership. He's going to lose a lot of subscribers. He's going to lose a lot of sponsors. And he's not going to, if he gets fired from ESPN, where else you going to go? Fox Sports 1 has moved on. Those big entities in the front office are no longer there. They got a new regime. This new regime is, lowering the, they're not looking for big stars. They're just looking for people that are interesting. Okay. So, plus, I think you done burnt your bridge with the new regime. They don't want you back over there at Fox Sports 1. You can't go back crawling to ESPN because they have to let you go. Because, like I said, it's a family-run type of atmosphere, and they just don't want this type of mess on their windshield. Okay? Go back to CBS Sports. I don't think, CBS Sports isn't the same like it used to be, back in the day. Now CBS Sports is just there. It's not the biggest draw. NBC Sports, can you see Shannon Sharpe on NBC? He will have to really tone down. He has to really tone himself down at NBC. They're not going to, let him just say or do whatever he wants to do. But I think his days are also numbered as far as a network signing him to a multi-million-dollar contract or even want to do business with him. I think his days I think that door is almost closed shut. And it's a crying shame. Shannon Sharpe, has had multiple bites at the apple. He had multiple bags that he has fumbled, all because, you want to hang with these, look, when you're 60, and Monique said it best on when he interviewed her on Club Shay Shay, and Monique was telling him, look, you don't need to be hanging around these young girls. You're too old for that. Now, he kind of laughed it off, and, try to turn it into a joke, but I think deep down inside, he was a little hurt by that. And another clip a lot of people are not talking about, he had a comedian on Club Shay Shay, and he even joked about the Instagram Live, the infamous Instagram Live, accidentally pushing the buttons on Instagram Live, and the whole world is seeing you in an intimate encounter with another female. And you can clearly tell, you can visibly tell that Shannon Sharpe was irritated about that. And then he said, well, at least, I have young women that's interested in me. Shannon Sharpe could be his own enemy, his own worst enemy. I didn't think it was a good idea to broadcast that you're on the verge to sign $100+ million deal podcasting wise. I didn't think that was a good look. You don't need to tell everybody how much you make. But I think he was, and I believe this, someone else said this, I think it was a Dreamer Pro. He said, he was basically doing that to broadcast that to other young women out there that go, okay. But I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of women that, they know. They know who makes the money. They know who do not make the money. All right. And they know an easy mark when they see one. And Shannon Sharpe is the biggest easy mark out there. All right. You're 60 years old. You still want to have and look, is it illegal to date a 60-year-old man dating a 19-year-old woman? No. All right. Is it illegal? Is it true that he did SA and raped this young woman? I don't know. That's going to be up to a court to determine that. But to me, when you're that old, you're more experienced than the person that you're in a relationship with that could be your daughter. Okay? So there's going to be a lot of moments where you can manipulate situations, or you're more experienced how to maneuver in and out of a situation or take full advantage of a situation due to your experience. All right. Plus, you're the breadwinner. You make the money. All she has to do is be your toy, your trophy wife, and that's it. All right. It's not like y'all are in an actual relationship where you're bringing something to the table and she's bringing something to the table and y'all building a relationship, possibly going into marriage. No, this is a hit it, quit it, a side chick. But I'm going to tell you something. A lot of these girls, they, like there's a lot of guys out there that think that they're a player and they know the game. But a woman who's very experienced and been in multiple situations where she has dated a man who's wealthy, who's influenced, they know how to ego massage that and work that to their benefit. A lot of these guys think they're players, but they're actually getting played. They're easy marks because you have the most to lose when this thing blows up. You think it's going to blow up in her face or it's going to blow up in your face? Pause. It's going to blow up more in your face, particularly if you got a lot to lose. I am never a big advocate of dating younger. I think there's levels to dating younger. But if you're 60, and if you want to date young, well, date somebody that's in their 30s. Date somebody in their 40s. If you're 60 and she's 40, I don't see a problem with that. But if you're 60 and she's 19, she hasn't even turned 20 yet, that's a huge problem. A huge red flag, particularly if you have money, power, influence, particularly if you are a CEO of a $1 million corporation, and particularly if you are, if you work for an entity, a big time entity that's the number one entity in sports entertainment. All right. You have a lot to lose. She has very little to lose. And I think that's why his first legal team, I don't know if it was their advice or Shannon Sharpe's advice. It doesn't matter who said what first. Shannon Sharpe had to agree to it, that he was willing to give her $10 million to stay quiet. If you are an innocent man, why are you why are you buying her off with $10 million? And a lot of people, look, $10 million is a lot of money. $1 million is a lot of money. All right. But from her standpoint, why I'm just settling for $10 million? I got you on the hook already. You're negotiating for me to be quiet for $10 million. I can get more. Now, what's the amount of more? Is $50 million too much? $50 million could quiet, can give you a lot of peace of mind. could give you a lot of peace of mind, particularly if you get her to sign her name on the contract. That's a lot of peace of mind. You don't have to worry about this coming out. Look, it didn't take you that long to get that $100+ million deal as far as podcasting go. That multi-year contract with ESPN. You're going to take a loss somewhere, but you shouldn't put yourself in that situation in the first place. But you're in this situation. Hey, there's not a certain amount you won't go over for peace of mind. And you should learn your lesson and quit hanging, having relationship with younger women. Shannon Sharpe, I know he don't listen to my content, but let's say the roles were reversed. You have a daughter that's older than her. Let me repeat that one more time again. Shannon Sharpe has a daughter that's younger than the woman that he's having these encounters with. Could you imagine, Shannon Sharpe, if some older man was in a relationship with your daughter? How are you going to respond? How are you going to react? You're going to have an issue with that because that's your daughter. Shannon Sharpe, this girl has a father, and this father feels like this relationship is inappropriate. You shouldn't be dating her daughter. Now, she's grown and all, but I guarantee you don't have this man's backing for you to date your daughter because you're not dating her. She's not building a relationship with you. She's purely a toy to you, purely entertainment to you. That's it. That you can easily get rid of and find someone else. All right? Now, a lot of people are going to scar her because, she's an OnlyFans model. I don't care what she is. I know one thing. She's somebody's daughter. And Shannon Sharpe, you have a daughter that's older than her. And you would feel a certain kind of way if an older man was messing around with your daughter. Man, Shannon Sharpe always figures out some way to fumble. He's not fumbling his bags. He finds a way to blow these bags out of the water. And this is damaging. This is very damaging. I don't know how he's going to get out of this. The only way if he wants to say, the only way I can see him salvaging the rest of his media career is for him to say that this is not true. That conversation that she recorded, that wasn't him. That's AI. They never was involved. They was never in no. This looks beyond bad. Beyond bad. This is just not bad. This is beyond bad. This is, career. You just destroyed your career. All because, you're thinking with the wrong head. This is, I don't know what. I know there's a lot of Shannon Sharpe fans out there that's going to be in the comment section and say this, that, and the third. And, look, is Tony Bugsby an ambulance chasing lawyer? Yes. Has Tony Bugsby been profiling high profile black celebrities? Yes. Is she an OnlyFans model? Yes. Just say OnlyFans, all right? Did she also encourage this quote-unquote relationship? Yes. But to totally exonerate Shannon Sharpe from any responsibility, you have to be an idiot. You have to be a blind witness idiot, you know? And it makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder. I guarantee there's a lot of other people who knew of this. And it also makes you wonder why LeBron James hasn't never been on Club Shay Shay. Shannon Sharpe is his biggest fan. Shannon Sharpe capes for LeBron James as much as possible. All right? You would think LeBron James would bless him with an interview. But it makes you wonder, if there's smoke, there's fire. And I guarantee you, in the next several weeks, there's going to be a bunch of women out there that also, too, have issues with Shannon Sharpe, that has been in these quote-unquote relationships with Shannon Sharpe. Be careful what you wish for. You know, Shannon Sharpe is the same individual that laugh at other celebrities and athletes when they find themselves in these situations. All right? And, you know, saying, well, that's just news. News is news. So we got to tell the news. Shannon Sharpe, you're Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, which Tony Bugsby was the representative for the women that took Deshaun Watson to civil court. I believe it was like 32 victims. And right now he's finalized 26 of them with settlements. You know, 26. There was 32. He settled for 26. I don't know about the others. They probably dropped, or they, you know, they've had enough evidence saying that the others are just in it for the money. They never even had a relationship with, they didn't even know Deshaun Watson. Okay. You know, 26 people that you settled, that's really eating out of that guaranteed money. And it would not surprise me if Deshaun Watson plays the next 5 or 6 years as a backup to try to recoup some of that money back. I guarantee he lost a huge chunk of money. And Deshaun Watson is younger than Shannon Sharpe. You know, and you also got to realize Deshaun Watson lost sponsorship deals, shoe deals, endorsements because of these accusations, which he done settled. And I'm telling you, where there's smoke is fire. It's not going to be just this one girl. It's going to be other girls that's going to come to the forefront. And I guarantee you, Tony Bugsby has half of them already lined up. He's not. There's a reason why yesterday they gave the audio to TMZ. Okay. And then they released the statement. And there's a reason why they're doing this. And they have also talked to the media, because Shannon Sharpe knows of this, because I guarantee you he has a relationship with other media outlets, that they're also going to show a clip of an X tape. And Shannon Sharpe is aware of that. I guarantee you, you think Tony Bugsby is going to blow his whole load, pause, yesterday? No. There's more to this powdered cake. There's a lot more to this powdered cake. And it's only the tip of the iceberg. I think there's a bunch of other women that are lining up. Tony Bugsby got them lined up. Because if you look at Tony Bugsby's MO, it's never one accuser. It's multiple accusers. So I think if it gets worse in the next couple of weeks, if you like Shannon Sharpe on ESPN, you better start watching him, because this thing is not going anywhere, and it's not going to stop only on this girl. I think there's other the young lady that was on that Instagram live, the lady, I don't know if she's young, the woman that was on that accidentally, Shannon Sharpe accidentally recorded on Instagram live. You don't think that Tony Bugsby have her? You don't think he's not representing her? And there's going to be a lot of women to the forefront, a lot of strippers, OnlyFans models, Instagram models that's going like, wait a minute. I had an encounter with Shannon Sharpe. And if this girl can get just $10 million, he was willing to offer $10 million for this to go away. There's going to be somebody else going, well, $10 million may not be a lot for her, but it's something for me. I'm going to put my name in the hat. I don't know why Shannon Sharpe don't fumble bags. Shannon Sharpe blows up bags. Okay? And, it's sad. It is absolutely sad. And he's going to waste half of his newfound fortune on legal fees, court proceedings, and settlements. And this is not going to look good publicly for Shannon Sharpe. There's going to be some celebrities and some athletes that are still going to do Club Shay Shay. I don't think he's going to lose a lot of subscribers on either of his YouTube channels, Club Shay Shay or Nightcap. I think he's going to lose a few, some here or there, but subscribers come and go. And to be honest with you, if you know anything about YouTube, subscribers don't necessarily mean you're going to make, that don't have anything to do with your check. It's the viewership of people watch. There's people that are not subscribed to Club Shay Shay or Nightcap, but they still watch it. They just, so as long as you're getting the viewership in, and long as YouTube recommends you, but I'm going to be honest with you, it depends on how big this thing is. I've seen this with Dr. Disrespect. Dr. Disrespect had a huge Twitch channel. Something happened over there, and he lost his Twitch sponsorship. He went to YouTube, flourished on YouTube, and the stuff that haunted him on Twitch came back to bite him momentarily on YouTube, and he lost his monetization on YouTube. And he also lost, sponsors that was, dealing with him. He lost a few sponsors, plus a lot of streamers denounced him. And that was like over a year. He just now got his monetization back. He just now got a few sponsors here and there. But the damage is already done. Okay? So you could be, they're not waiting on a presumed innocent or guilty. This is court of public opinion. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose every time. But yeah, I'm sorry for the video to be long because there was a whole lot of layers to this. And, I wanted to talk about I wanted to do a video on him announcing the $100 million plus mega deal that he was about to sign. Okay. And I was going to speculate, there's probably other media companies that's negotiating against the volume. And I was just going to chop it up and talk about that. But then all this other stuff fell in my lap. And then here we are. But guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.